Good morning, Lagos. Thank you very much for staying tuned on Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
And Valentine.
Thank you. It's good to know that you're still listening on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Rainy one, but it's great news as it's a public holiday, so you don't have to face the traffic. But happy inauguration Wednesday morning, 29th of May 2019. Time check 9:02 a.m. It's Lagos Talks 981, and this is the first time on the show when we open the phone lines, and the focus is on you, the listener, as we encourage you to call in and weigh in on some of our hottest topics from the morning. However, today is a special, as we often do on a Wednesday morning, and rather than taking one of the news headlines from this morning, we will be looking at a special focus. Now, the focus today, being Inauguration Day, May 29, is looking back in order to look forward. First of all, we'll be looking back at the administration or the government of outgoing Governor Akinwumi Ambode, almost like a scorecard, just evaluating what he's done. Some people have mixed feelings about his leadership skills and the decisions and development he's made in Lagos State. And very importantly, looking forward. So, incoming Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will be looking at what he's promised and his campaign promises as well, and some of the statements he's made recently and our hopes for the Lagos of our future. But would love for you to call in once we open the phone lines. Please save this number. Number to call is 0144 89981. That's 0144 89981. Joining us on this conversation, we have the man Divo Okori. Hello again, Divo.
Hi, Lagos.
Our cool man.
Cool inauguration.
Welcome, Devo.
Thank you.
All right.
Lagos, please call this number 0144 as we start the conversation. So let's highlight some of the projects that have been accomplished by the past governor, Akinwumi Ambode.
Yeah, so quick, what I call the governance impact assessment of the current, because in a few hours it will become the past. Well, the truth is, in as much as Ambode had a little riff at the end and he went for one tenure, taking a cursory look at...
He didn't go for one tenure, just to highlight that. He was given one tenure by the mandate of the people.
So he actually accomplished a lot of notable things.
Yes.
And it's surprising that many of these things were not highlighted or used to push him back in for a second tenure. And in terms of facts, there were about 423 projects. If you remember, early in his tenure, he was given that award for being very effective on projects, and that other state governors should come and learn from him in terms of development. And in a way, the development cut across Lagos from Badagry, Ikeja, Ikorodu, Lagos Island, and Ekpe. Now, there were projects in agric, projects in education, some in energy and mineral resources, commerce, housing, justice, works and infrastructure, transport. Of the notable ones, we know the airport road, that's in conjunction with the federal government, Oshodi, the bus parks, the BRT buses, the jetties around some of the waterways, the bus stops, the flyovers, the overhead bridges. Then he did some things in women affairs, in terms of some reforms, in terms of domestic violence acts, establishment, training and pensions, water supply, security, energy and safety, tourism, arts and culture, youth, social development, notably the Lagos State Social, I think the Entrepreneurial Fund, which was for the youth investment, the smart city movement, and then the civil service. Now, in spite of all this, right, and we can still break this down in terms of infrastructure, about 342 roads that were built, 125 public buildings, which consisted of public centers, skills acquisition centers, 3 high and magistrate courts, rebuilding, 10 fire stations, 5 police commands, 3 youth centers, 5 sports facilities, and 2 elderly centers across his 4 years. Now, I'm sure many people don't know this. I'm sure many people have not been able to touch with some of these projects that have been done.
Yes.
And the truth is, it's left to Lagosians to be able to say that, hey, I actually had a feel of the governor or his administration. Now, it's funny that despite all of this, he wasn't given another mandate by the people.
Mm.
What went wrong? What were the places that he had issues with?
Yeah.
Why were the people willing to take on a new person? And I
Person, yes.
think it boils down to a lot, even though some can raise issues over the Visionscape waste
I was
management
going to go
issue.
there. I'm glad, Divo, it's important
Yes.
that you highlighted, first of all, his achievements,
Mm.
and of which there are many. He's done, like you quoted, 423 projects, but
Mm.
there are also some areas that people scored him really low.
Very low.
You've talked about waste management, sanitation. Some people
sanitation.
talked about the fact that they hadn't seen Lagos as dirty as this in such a long time.
It's we had gone past that, and
Mm.
Lagos became a clean place thanks to the administration before his.
Mm.
But however, I think with the implementation of the Visionscape scheme
Yeah.
didn't work as well as they had planned, and I think that infuriated a lot of Lagosians.
Yes.
Also, the traffic jam, LASMA almost was euthanized at some point. They couldn't really do much, and Lagos, being the metropolis city that it is, with over 20 million people in motion at every point in time, it became jammed, almost impossible. You spend hours in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening all in traffic. Man hours were reduced to the lowest. Secondly, thirdly, the Land Use Act charge review, which actually irked a lot of people because of the. But I think the most issue and what actually captured where he had troubles with was his politics. And with every governor, with every governance, you must play your politics right. It really didn't even have so much to do with the godfatherism aspect of it. For every political structure, it must be oiled. And I think that's where he had a bit of problem in oiling the political structure that brought him to power. So at the end of the day, that structure shifted against him, and which was responsible for what we see today. Now, that being said, that is the past. We are now, he's handed over as of yesterday. Today, Sanwo-Olu and his tag team deputy, Hamzat, are going in.
Dr. Bafemi Hamzat.
Yes, they are going in, and like we said before, no pump, no champagne popping, no drinking or merriment. It is not about congratulations. It is a call to duty, and we say this with all form of responsibility, because remember, most times when we hear all the fighting and the haggling over politics, the do or die politics, you wonder, is it really about you and me? Is it about our interest, or is it about their pockets, or is it about what they have in mind? And Lagosians, and that's what we're asking the new government to do. There's a democracy that we're trying to build. Irrespective of the fact that it came from APC, it could have come from anyone. We want Lagos better. Eko ni baje. Even when you went to Itesiwaju, meaning Lagos is moving forward. So what is that forward that you have promised? And Sanwo-Olu has a big task on his hand. And out of the many things, because from all these achievements, every governor has parastatus to work with. No governor works by himself. He has a full-fledged parastatus and commissions to work with, and we expect Sanwo-Olu and Hamzat in a way to find a way to utilize, bring these parastatus to life. We shouldn't be calling the governor's name on everything.
Absolutely.
We'll take a break here, and our conversation on Lagos Talks 981 is a special. We're looking at appraising the outgoing governor, Dr. Akinwumi Ambode, and just try to x-ray some key performance indicators for the new governor, that's Sanwo-Olu. And we would open up the phone lines. The phone line is open already. 01448991. Let us know how you think Governor Ambode has performed in the past 4 years, and how you would expect Sanwo-Olu to perform in the next 4.
Well done, Divo.
Yesterday, you people were not interested in talking. What happened? You were just playing music. Something was going on down here.
Some mornings, we gauge either the story, either the mood or atmosphere.
People were not calling.
No, people called.
People called
yesterday.
Yeah, but you just take one call and then let's go on a break. I'm like, what's happening?
So
were
for
you
a day
tired?
like this, for some days, for mornings like this, where the conversation we know it's exciting and would elicit a lot of conversation, we hardly, if any, take any music break, because it is Lagos Talk.
So people were not calling yesterday.
They were calling, but
not as much.
it wasn't.
Not as much.
The
Not
time.
as
Interesting.
Why you'd been calling and calling?
No, I was trying to call.
Oh, we're coming back now.
Uh,
We have a few seconds.
People get bored.
We,
Yes.
but
Something
not bad.
Yeah. Okay.
sometimes with the some of the stories.
No, but we even if our job is not our job is to make it
Yeah, but
exciting.
use
So.
yeah, use stories that every topic
Okay,
because
so Mike is go. Mike is studio is live now.
okay.
That's right. Lagos is in focus this morning, inauguration morning, the 29th of May, 2019, as we welcome in our new governor at the Tafawa Balewa Square in a matter of hours. His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, will be taking on the reins of power from his predecessor, His Excellency, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, as governor of Lagos. And this morning on Lagos Talks 981, we are reviewing the performance of Dr. Akinwumi Ambode, as well as projecting what should be expected from Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
So Sanwo-Olu has been somebody who's put himself forward as being close to the youth, and he's involved young minds a lot in his campaign,
Which he did.
electioneering campaign exactly. And he said that he really is looking towards making Lagos a center for a 21st century economy, really integrating technology and some other futuristic ideas into his governance in the next 4 years. So, what do you Devo, for you, what are the key things you would expect the governor to do?
Thank you very much. You see, the thing is, you just mentioned that he's very energetic.
Yeah.
We've seen that, and I think my own concern and call is not even to the governor, but to the residents of Lagos State,
Yes.
and what I call resident Lagosians. You see, most politicians come in with energy, okay? Now it's up to you and me to ensure that we keep them on their feet so that this initial energy that we're seeing will be sustained across their tenure, and we begin to reap and gain from what they had promised.
Yes.
Now, that energy he's bringing on board, that's him and Hamzat. There are four things I just want to highlight because there's so many.
Yes.
One, stakeholder engagement. This was the lacuna that Ambode had issues with. And it's not just on the political side, also we, the people. Now, whilst we expect him to bring far more light on our assemblies, our state assemblies, who should be representing us,
Yes.
I want to see more stakeholder engagements with the people of Lagos. During the time of Fashola, he did 100-day stakeholder meeting. Every 100 days there would be a report card.
Yeah.
This is how far we've gone, this is where we are, this is where we're going,
From the community level
from
to
the
local
beginning
government.
to the very end.
Yes.
So that every in this, the Ambode, what he did was he shifted the meeting to different locations, but I want to see this go on constantly so that we don't lose touch at any point in time as to what is going on.
That is very key.
That is
Losing
very,
touch,
very key.
Keep people
Don't-
accountable.
Yes, and
Yes.
also for political office holders not to lose touch.
Yes, with their
the
people.
who
They
put
need,
them
they
in
need,
office.
they need to hear from us at every point in time. The man in Badagry who is suffering from the road, I'm sure he can't even see them to speak with. Secondly,
All right, before you go to the second point, I need to remind our listeners that they can call in and join the conversation. The phone lines are open now, so you can call 0144899981. Also, you can send in your messages on WhatsApp. We see a few already coming, so we'll take them. We'll come to them very shortly.
yes.
Before you
So
can
we
go.
mentioned this.
WhatsApp is 0809 440 981.
Yes, we've mentioned the stakeholder engagement. We want to be seeing Sanwo-Olu at every point in time.
Yes.
We don't want him to wrap himself up in a closet 2 years into his tenure. Nobody gets to hear from him anymore. Secondly, traffic control. Because it's one of the major cities, actually the biggest black city in the world, Lagos needs prime, competent traffic control. Now, this just doesn't refer to LASMA. It also refers to the whole transport engineering in terms of roads, in terms of access, in terms of rules enforcement, police, in terms of what do you call it? Having the traffic control workers work round the clock.
Yes.
Now that's
Round the
the,
clock,
that's the issue in
it's
Lagos.
24 hours.
Yes, many of the traffic jams are because in the morning they're not there, so the roads get jammed. In the afternoon they're there, Evening time they disappear
In fact,
again.
after 5 o'clock, you don't see much.
And I think that's an employment generating opportunity.
Very
That's right.
true.
We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning. Good
Good
morning
morning.
to you. Please, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Could you kindly turn down the volume of your device, please, or move away from the noise that we're getting? We're getting feedback. Thank you. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? All right.
Welcome. Please go ahead.
Mm,
Mm.
mm. All right.
What would you expect? What would you expect from Sanwo-Olu?
All right. Yeah. Mm, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Mm.
Thank
Thank
you very
you. Thank
much
you, Val.
indeed for your comment.
We'll take another call here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name, please?
So we didn't get your name. What's your name, please? Did
Just
you
say your name one more time.
did you say Justine?
Kasim.
Kasim. Oh,
Where's
hello,
Kasim calling
Kasim.
from?
Good to hear from you. Where are you calling from this morning? First stack. All right. Go ahead, please.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
Jubilee Bridge. Yes. Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Sustainability. Okay.
mhm.
Hello. Hello, Kasim.
All right, Kasim, thank you very much. We've gotten the meat of what your contribution. Unfortunately, the phone lines are a bit bad this morning. Hello, good morning,
Good morning. Hello, sir.
Chika.
Oh, Chisha,
Morning,
rather.
Chika. How you
Welcome.
doing? Where are you calling from this morning? All right, please go ahead.
Good morning, Chica. Mm,
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Roundabouts here and Lekki exits.
Oh, that
Yes,
was a
yes.
major win.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's the PSPs.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like he promised. Mm.
No, no, no. It was the Apapa gridlock that he
Gridlock
said he
in
would clear.
particular.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, like what? Mm. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
All
right.
right.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Chico.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I mean, he's stated some very strong points. Highlighting the high points and the low points of achievement for us, Ambode in Estonia, as pointed out the Lekki roundabouts that were renewed or revitalized in some sense, and the renewal of Ekpe, because Ekpe has a facelift, a complete outturn of events right now. So far, has shown that Ekpe now could possibly look like a mega city. And then looking at the low points, the Loma waste management issues, that has really been a downside to his administration. But looking at these things, or these factors, what would you say, Devo,
Hmm.
should be the key performance indicators for this new administration?
Well, he just hit the nail on the head with the bureaucracy of government, which
Mm.
has to do with administration. Um, Everyone must deal with government at some point in time, at whatever level you are, whether
Yeah.
you are at tier one, tier two, tier three in terms of economic presence.
Okay.
However, for a state like Lagos, and you know, Lagos has it's like the confluence state for practically all the nations within the country, being the former capital. Lagos needs a functional and efficient government.
Yeah.
So if you're going for some form of licensing, if you're going for some form of papers, if you're going for whatever is due, whatever needs to be renewed, we need the commissioners, the permanent secretaries, and the various different organs and agencies of government to work so that Lagosians can get these things easily. Now, it's these organs that form the body of governments that actually deliver the mandates. For example, why are the roads dirty? Obviously, you're referring to Lama.
Normal. Yeah.
Why is traffic jammed? You're referring
Asthma.
to LASMA. You're referring to VIO. You're referring to the road safety people. Why are schools dilapidated? We're talking about the educational ministries.
Yes.
Why are our houses just jammed in one way or the other? I can't get my CFO or I've overpaid. You're talking about lands. So these are all agencies that will determine whether Sanwo-Olu and Hamzat deliver on their mandate.
Totally, yeah, exactly. Thank you very much indeed. Now I know you were still listing your 5 point agenda when before the phone calls came in, and I know you hadn't finished with regards to
Okay.
expectations from the incoming
Yes.
governor. I would love for you to finish
You
your
did mention
thoughts.
traffic control. Number
Yes.
3 was waste management.
Okay.
Now, because Lagos in its special status, and that's a political issue that will be resolved, hopefully now that the APC is going in for the second time,
yes.
they can synergize to give Lagos the special status that it deserves.
Mhm.
There's a lot of wear and tear simply because of the federal government institutional presence within Lagos.
Yes.
Apapa, for example,
Yeah.
that's the gateway of the nation to trade and commerce.
Yeah.
The residents of Lagos do suffer for that huge traffic,
Yeah.
and in a way, compensation should come, not just monetary, but some types of concessions should be given to Lagos to enable it carry its status properly.
Yeah.
For example, even at the end of the day, Lagos State had to help the federal government out to ensure that the airport road,
Lagos Airport- yes, airport road.
was done properly, of
yeah.
which
Now
the
it
federal
has a
government will
facelift.
pay back. So waste management, even though there was a politics behind the PSP owners,
Yeah.
their efficiency and they were working.
Yes.
Now we want them to improve on where they were from the last time and ensure that Lagos is clean to the end of the day. Okay. Well, and when we'll discuss waste management, we're also referring to water supply.
Yes.
We're referring to what do you call it? The perennial flooding that goes with
Yes, that's an issue.
Lagos.
Yes.
Our drainages are not clear. That is why most places get flooded
Yes.
with just little rain,
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
it's in a
hygiene.
yes,
Hygiene.
it's unhygienic. It can become endemic,
Yeah.
and it's a disgrace that a city like Lagos, a first world city like Lagos, which is our aim, does not have proper drainage. Now, if you look at many of the highbrow and even the lowbrow areas, this drainage matter. Why hasn't the government, and we take example from Festac. Festac was built in 1970, if I remember, 76, 70, 80, right?
Yeah.
6-foot drainages are required to ensure that whenever it rains, because if you walk through Festac, you'll be wondering, why did they build drainages this big? Because we know that the rains will fall.
Yeah.
And being a coastal area, if you do not have some relief point for the water to seep out from, it's going to destroy much property.
That's right.
So this is a key area for this governor to look at.
And it's good that he's been sworn in as we approach the rainy season.
We are in it
We're
already.
in it.
Even
The
this
rains have
morning,
come.
the small drizzle created a flood in some
You're
areas.
very right, because if you look around Lagos, we noticed that most of the canals that were very visible before now are now being encroached by bush, waste, and everything.
And
some
now even turned
properties have
into
been built
waste
on
dis-
these
On
disposal
top of them,
sites.
if you
Yes.
remember, take an example in Abuja, when El Rufai was there, he did a fantastic job by, which takes me to my last point, by recreating or enforcing the master plan.
Yes.
Now, the master plan is my final point. It practically encapsulates the full vision of what Lagos should be for the people and the visitors. Now, Ambode did do some work in trying to get some parts. I think that was Ikoyi, Lekki, Lagos Island, trying to get them back to the former status. It wasn't completed. Sanwo-Olu actually is mandated to ensure that the master plan for Lagos, which has many aspects to it, and I want to start talking about the ease of doing business in Lagos.
Yeah.
How quickly can people register business? How easily can they deal with, like Chika mentioned, Alausa?
Yeah.
How are people harassed by government officials in terms of where they have roles to play?
And monitoring of oversight on the collection of
Collection
taxes,
of taxes, etc.
Yes.
Local government people to town planning. We've not seen town planning in effect I'm sure some people don't even know that town planning exists. They just
That's
know
even the
it's an
first-
area around the
first
Ilupeju
concern.
that's where
Some people think it's a street. Town planning
where some of our brothers from India live. No, town planning is actually a government agency that's responsible for turning our Lagos areas into a an area where we can live in properly, ensuring where there should be roads, ensuring where there should be housing, ensuring the balance of residential and commercial
Yeah.
areas. Town planning has been sleeping, ensuring also.
Lekki is a big example
There are
of
some roads
sleeping
right
town
now that
planning.
are being converted on a daily basis
Uh,
from
It's
residential
because we're
to
here on the
commercial.
island. I'm talking about Alimosho, Badagry, Ekpe, Ijaniki. Go as far as I think when I was following Ekpe out, you're talking about some of those areas
Yeah.
that haven't been planned.
Yeah.
It's a full time job, and I hope Sanwo-Olu and Hamzat are ready to keep these issues on the front burner on a daily basis. Fact being, I don't expect them to sleep for the next 4 years. They will stay awake and deliver Lagos
Well, they
as we have.
promised that they're going to hit the ground running immediately they're sworn into office. So from tomorrow, begin to expect.
Today,
Okay, well,
immediately they give them
no
that
party,
mantle.
no
A few
dinner.
minutes after.
All right, Lagos. So still here on Lagos Talks 981. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls and messages primarily. This is Smooth 98.1.
Easy to be governor.
It's true. No
We have not
sleeping, though.
mentioned. Okay, well, maybe we'll mention that last. Lagos is the richest.
Yes.
So
I have IGR on my notes.
they cannot act poor or come with humble and say we don't have
And
money.
whether the federal government gives us handouts or not, we are able to stand. We are self-sufficient. But the only challenge with being a prosperous city is because it's then migration.
Yeah, rural to urban.
Yeah,
migration.
that's where the special status comes. In fact, the truth is, well, let me note that down. They should take a trip to New York if they're struggling. You know how big New York is? New York, we don't even, our budget not reach the fire police departments. New York hosts the world. So,
Okay, we are coming back in 10 seconds. Mic's up. It's your Love Music, Love Life station, and for a Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock to 10, it's Lagos Talks special. Lagos Talks 981 here as part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
And Valentine.
And we have Devol with us in the studio. Devol Corey, at Devol Corey on Twitter, is our guest as we analyze, or we look back and we look forward with regards to Lagos State and the new government. We've talked about or appraised the performance of outgoing Governor Akinwumi Ambode, and looking forward to what we expect from incoming Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And we'll be opening the phone lines very shortly. We've discussed about some of the challenges that we hope he will be able to tackle in his first few days and then months, and then of course 4 years of his first term of administration.
Let's take our calls right now. The number to call is 0144899981. Good morning.
Good morning.
To you. What is your name, please?
Good morning. We can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? Good morning. Yes, welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? Oh, hi, Sylvester. Go ahead, please.
Well, okay, tell us why.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Yes. So he was able to do it within one term. All right.
All right, so that,
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So, Sylvester, now I know because it's great for us to talk about Ambody, but it's even more important for us to look at what we expect from Sonwolu. So, you said he has big shoes to fill. What would you expect him to do, or how would you want him to build up on the work that has already been done by Ambody?
Not necessarily so.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because of the campaign posters. All
Yeah.
right.
Mm. Sylvester.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Sylvester.
much, Sylvester.
An ardent Ambode fan, hoping that someone will perform as well as he campaigned. I get pretty objective anyway, or not. But let's take more calls.
Good morning. Good
Good
to
morning.
have you on the
Adeyemi, is that
show.
you?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Happy inauguration day to you too.
Inauguration. Just to confirm to our listeners, we know. I think we know who it is, but could you tell us your name and where you're calling from, please?
Okay.
Okota. Good to have you. Please go ahead. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. That's right. We haven't talked about Berger. Hmm.
Mm. Yeah. Mm. Okay.
Mm.
Mm.
Which one? The press conference.
Mm-mm. The land use
Which one?
act
Oh, the
reform.
The
land
land
use
use
chart.
act.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm. 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 All right. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you. To do the work. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. And do. All
Okay,
right.
Ademi.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
Adeyemi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much indeed. Unfortunately, we have to go on a break right now. When we come back, we continue the conversation on Lagos Talks 981 special.
No drinks
Okay,
or
Yes,
breakfast.
sir.
Mm?
No breakfast. Devo, don't
If I
worry.
if I
Don't
agree for you
worry.
again,
Don't worry, Devo. Don't worry.
you think it's by hook we got here?
Your
Huh? Say why?
your reward is not just in heaven.
No,
It's here on earth as well.
I have suffered. So what? So this is dead.
Hmm?
This side
No, it's not. It's done. It's
is
ready.
done.
Mm.
But it
So,
doesn't look new.
it's easy.
Ah.
It's done. So most of the things are internal, not external.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So what's holding us from moving to that place is the engineer
Please, I'm looking for
ordered
who
some
knows
It's not
tools,
around.
spares.
someone.
Okay.
So he doesn't
Interesting.
want us to move there and start operating there when the spares are not available.
Right before it now stops you short.
Exactly.
Mm. Doing- doing- People need. I was asking whether you were getting bored because the, this is the Lagos Talks event that actually pulls people.
Yes, it does.
Mm.
Even your entertainment show, if you added a
Grapevine.
call-in part to it,
The
you would
grapevine.
see
Oh yeah.
how
That's so true.
people want to talk.
Mm.
Under ratings, Nigerian Info is topping
It's topping?
charts.
No, it's number 10, but last month it was number 10.
Number 10.
Yeah. They've
Who?
gone down. They used to be number 4, number 5, play around 4 and 5.
What happened?
I don't know.
Are you
Even
serious?
Wazobia is number 3 now, and they used to dominate as
Yeah,
number 1,
for a
like
long
For a
time.
with a
long
far
time.
gap. I was shocked to see that they're
So
number
who's
3.
number one?
And Bond
Bond.
FM.
So Bond is really kicking it.
It's kicking it. So Bond used to be number 2, number 3,
Yeah.
battling with Cool FM.
And I don't even listen to Bond. Interesting.
So are we live on stream?
Who's number 2?
Cool. Well, Smooth
Interesting.
FM is number 1 forever and ever.
Smooth.
Amen to that.
Smooth
That's
FM.
in our minds, Abby.
No, no, in reality.
Number
Our
1.
minds are hearts in reality.
It's the people that matter. Alright, we're going back online shortly.
Okay. Oh.
Let's go back to messages. Please.
Alright. Okay, mic's out. Val, do you wanna bring on?
That is right. Every day of the week, we are here for Smooth Breakfast with me, Valentine.
And Ayo.
And of course, at this time, Lagos Talks 981 comes to look at some of the stories that are topical of national interest. Now, looking at this particularly that affects us, today is inauguration day, so we see that the outgoing governor Akunmi Ambode has done a lot. We're x-raying his performance so far in the past 4 years, and looking forward to what Babajide Sanwo-Olu would do or is expected to do in the next 4 years. He's promised that he's going to hit the ground running just minutes after he's sworn in as the governor of Lagos State. But we're taking your calls and your messages to maybe present some things as part of a scorecard for Ambode and hoping for the things or the achievements of this present administration or the administration that's stepping in right now to fill those shoes. Emeka sent in this message on WhatsApp. Emeka said, whether Ambode or Sanwo-Olu, what matters is the interest of the Godfather, not what Lagos really means. The Godfather is the governor.